So yeah, this is easy peasy. We're just sitting around the kitchen table, and our goal is to just make you look brilliant.
Well, he is brilliant.
Well,
Actually, you are. You got a really nice resume, Matt.
thank you. Yeah, I know it's very diverse.
It is very diverse.
It's been an interesting journey. It really has.
Past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshine through the clouds. Saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Living Well Together. Not living well life.
Not living well life, but living well together, big life in a small town.
Our tiny town USA. We are supercharged today.
We
This
are
is going to be so
so
fun. We've got
excited.
the executive director. Is that
Yep.
your proper title? He's actually a volunteer, but he's the executive and creator of, right? This is your game.
Yeah.
Of Just a Pair of Shoes. And we're going to learn about Just a Pair of Shoes, but we're also going to learn about you. And the goal here is to just get your message out to as many people as we can get it out to.
Yeah. So this is Matt Cline.
Did I forget that part? Should we start again? Son of a perch.
No, I think you're good.
I think you're good. No, it's
think that's
perfect.
great.
Well, the good news is Graham's a really good editor. But Matt Cline, executive director, CEO, entrepreneur of the decade.
And volunteer.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to add this one in too.
Uh-oh.
This is
It's a lot of notes.
These are all your notes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. The most recent WS Wright State University graduate of the last decade in 2024 and Fairborn Rung of Honor in 2025.
Yeah, it's
That's
coming up.
amazing.
I know it's very nice, and
my gosh, Matt.
all these awards have been great. But I think having more eyes on our organization has been awesome. So
What
that's
year
what these
did you
awards.
graduate?
2018 from Wright State.
Okay.
I met my wife at Wright State, and now she's a teacher at Fairborn Intermediate. So
Did she go to Fairborn as well?
She went to Greenon.
Okay, so you're both local.
Yeah, so
Start
still
from
local.
scratch. Born in the area, raised in the area.
So I was actually born in Tarpon Springs, Florida. So
I thought I remembered Florida connection for you from
Yeah.
the presentation that you'd done at Rotary.
yeah, I got a lot of Tampa, Florida area family.
Okay.
But my journey in Fairborn started in the second grade. So
Okay.
I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
So
And what was it like growing up here? This is small town, right?
good. Yeah. It's, I felt like there's just so many people that it's a village, there's so many people that just helped and just really helped to raise me. And it's what I call home. So yeah.
Do you have siblings?
I do. I have a sister, a younger sister. Mm-hmm.
And so she got started here in Fairborn as well.
Yeah,
So you guys
yeah.
were raised here.
Yep.
And did you do sports?
Yes. I loved football and track.
Okay.
I swam for a year, which was
You
a
swam?
great workout. Yeah. I
In
mean, it's-
Fairborn?
Yeah.
Where did you train in Fairborn for that?
They used to have it at the Fairborn YMCA.
Oh, wow.
I think I don't know where they practice now, but
I didn't even, so they have a swim team? At
they do.
Fairborn?
Yeah. They actually have a pretty good swim team from last year. I remember I guess it was just in December. They won some awards. Some of their athletes did. And yeah, they're doing well.
And you had a scholarship, right, for track and for football? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it came down to Tiffin, and then I had some NAI Division II football scholarships. And Tiffin was a powerhouse. They actually won the national championship for Division II. I think two out of the 4 years that I would have been there. So
Oh, wow.
So it was a hard choice, but I thought that I was running a lot. Like I was running at 5:30 in the morning, and I felt like I was running a lot, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to run so much more. So
To keep up with them?
just to keep up and stay competitive and,
Yeah.
leave this little pond and enter the United States giant lake. So I just thought it was a lot of work, and I felt like I loved football a little bit more, but I was probably better at track.
Okay. Sprints, distance, somewhere
Yep.
in the middle.
I was a hybrid, man. I was
Yep.
more so sprints, but they put me in the 800 and I went to regionals and almost won it. I ran the race 3 times before that, so it was like a lack of inexperience. But I'm out there and, think of a football build, and one of my teammates said, man, you're so much bigger than all
It's
the other
usually little
runners.
bony guys that are
I was
running
like,
that.
no. I look out there, I'm like, oh, yeah. Because the distance runners, they have the same, body style, and the sprinters are more stockier and strength. all that. So it was interesting.
Right
but
in the middle is a good place to be, though.
the middle is a good place to be. And we went to state in the 4x4,
Wow.
which was cool. And then we broke the 4x2, 4x4 school record.
Nice.
So had a lot of team success. And at one point, we ran the fastest time in the state of Ohio.
Beautiful.
So part of my story is really the Dayton Daily had this article, and it's framed in my office. It set the tone for my life. It's called Change at the Top. So Fairborn saves the best for last in the relay final.
That's awesome.
So it was cool. And the reporter came to the school and pulled me out of science class. And he goes, man, I didn't know who was in first. That you had Navy uniforms. Like, I didn't know who it was. And he was just saying, he was surprised when it was Fairborn.
Who are these nobodies coming up to win?
And we're facing Troutwood, Dunbar, Centerville, and
my
Huber
goodness.
Heights, Wayne. And we're blowing them out of the water.
Nice.
I mean, 150 meters like lead. And it was just a massacre.
Crazy.
But the reporter was so just shocked and confused. And it was a change at the top. And, I think at Fairborn, I love the city and everything else. But my experience being there, we lost more than we won, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
those wins.
so the wins were big, and we didn't know how it was to win. So when we're at the state championship,
Yeah.
the best of the best,
And that's in Ohio Stadium.
yes,
That's
the
no-
Jesse Owens, like
no small
big
deal,
time,
100%.
and like we just didn't know how to act. We didn't know how that was, and you have other teams that have been there and they've done that, and it's comfortable. We unfortunately were rattled a little bit, and wish we would have got to that point earlier on in our careers so we could be used to it. But when you talk about a winning culture and everything else, it's like, that was new to us.
Sure.
And it really set the tone, and I thought it was really good for Fairborn because the years after it kept going, and it was just cool. The next year they got new uniforms, and they were Nike, and we were just like, oh, I wonder how you got those. So, but when you start winning, I mean, they put a lot of money and attention into these certain sports.
This
So
facility up the street
it's unreal.
It's unreal.
blows it away.
It
I mean,
is
that's better than most
unreal.
junior college facilities.
Yes.
Amazing. So, do you think that has any impact on the pride in the kids and the performance of those kids?
Absolutely. I think
There's no way it couldn't.
No, yeah, it's I get to be on the Fairborn Football Foundation, so we're raising money for the football team, and just being more involved than not. And this year they waived the pay to play fees. So
Seriously?
yeah. So
I
they
did
had
not know that.
They had the highest number. I think with that and the stadium and the school, they had the highest number of kids out for football that they've had in at least 20 years.
That's awesome.
So
I didn't know
it's-
they waived the fee.
Yeah, I'm
Beautiful.
like, wow, it's
That
so
is
so it's cool. You're going to get more people out, and I wish I could have done that a long time ago.
But you did not start out in the spotlight. You did not come from a spotlight.
No.
Take us back to your kidhood. You're moving here as a second grader, and not as easy at the time. Maybe give us a little picture of that.
Yeah, really rough start. My parents just didn't work out, as my mom says. So my grandmother lived in Fairborn, Ohio, and she actually lived in Fairborn Apartments. And I remember she had emergency open heart surgery.
Oh my goodness.
So
When
I was first, because we started here in second, so like in between first and second grade.
Okay.
And the doctor said, hey, you should probably come up here. We're not going to make it.
Oh wow.
So we packed up our van and we took the toys that, we wanted, and we left the rest.
Yeah.
And we were coming up here to pass through. And so I remember getting the news, and it was like 24 hours later, we're on the road.
Wow.
So we're driving up, and I brought this little
And not
lizard
going
with me.
back.
Yeah. Well, we thought we were coming back.
Is that right?
So
Okay.
our
What did you
intention.
bring with you?
I brought a little lizard.
A little
I named him
lizard?
Thunder. He was one of those green aloe lizards. He unfortunately died here, but yeah, just
But here's your little pet that you brought.
he
from
was my
Florida.
little pet. Yeah, and he was a piece of Florida that I brought with, and my grandmother actually lived. So we were like, whoa.
Fantastic.
And my mom was
Goodness.
like, hey, we need to stay here because statistics on open heart surgery, I don't think you live more than 8 years after or something.
Okay.
And so she's like, hey, we should stay here until she passes away. And I was like, okay. So we stayed here, and it was really hard, because I missed my dad and everything else. And we were here to pass through.
Yes.
We were not here to live.
Yeah.
We had no job. We had no place to live. So we stayed at my grandma's, and I remember our car radio got stolen when we were staying there. So it was like,
The car
wow.
radio got
yeah.
stolen?
And that was Fairborn Apartments. So
wow.
I never realized like that it was bad or anything. I was just a kid, but
Yeah.
but our radio was gone. It's like, oh. So, but when she got out of the hospital,
Not maybe the best part of town.
no,
Ish.
probably not. And not back then either. So,
Okay.
but when she got out of the hospital, she got into assisted living, and then we couldn't live with her. So now we're homeless. It's like, so my mom graduated here, and I think in '87, and she had some friends that still lived in the area, and we stayed there, and then she got a job and kind of got back on her feet a little bit, but we got on a waiting list for a homeless shelter. Back then it was called Interfaith Hospitality Network. It's called IHN.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? They recently, maybe 2 years ago, they've changed the name due to some funding stuff.
Yeah.
But we got on this waiting list. So now we're staying at people's houses like once a week, and then we're rotating until we got into the shelter.
Yeah.
So we finally get in, and it was great. I mean, from a kid perspective, we were treated like royalty. Like we would stay at churches every week.
Wow.
So the United Methodist Center downtown was one of them.
I think that's how we know about it.
That's how we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We participated in that as well.
Wow. It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Because when I was in there, it was, I think almost 20 years ago.
Yep.
But yeah, we'd stay there. We'd stay in Centerville. We'd stay in Xenia and everything else. And we got a government gas voucher. I didn't know this until I graduated.
Okay.
But
Like for gasoline?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
So when I graduated, not to skip forward, but I got the No Excuses scholarship from the Palmer South, which is the intermediate school. And Dr. Sue Brackenhoff remembered about this gas voucher and remembered the whole story and everything. And yeah, because we're driving from Centerville all the way here.
So you were going to school in Fairborn regardless of where you were staying.
Yeah, and we were just dislocated or something. So
what's the no excuses that you
they
continue
still
to
do
show
it.
up?
Yeah, well, I think they still do it. Teachers donate from their checks, and it comes together every year, and high school kids from Fairborn can apply. And it was just I think they title it No Excuses, but yeah, it's just someone that kind of beat the odds or didn't let anything stop them, and it was really cool. It was cool
That
to
is
get
really
it.
cool. I think we are going to need tissues. Sorry, Graham.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Well, it's and it's just starting, and but it's cool. It was cool to hear like all the background, and it's like, oh, about it.
Yeah.
And I always say in my story, like the receipts are all there.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I think people lie about their stories, but like all my stuff is there, and you can find it, and you can
I
go
totally
back.
believe you, Matt. I don't think that you're making it up.
Well, I heard from David Goggins when he's writing his book. He's like, people didn't think this happened, and I had to verify it.
Right.
So I just,
really?
in the back of my head, I think about that, and I'm like, oh, you can verify it. So,
Yeah.
but we got out of the shelter, and it was a Christian shelter too. So we found our faith there, and we got a house on Ironwood, 1505 Ironwood Drive.
Oh, wow.
It was
large.
It was 890 square foot or something, and a small house, but it did the job for us, and we called it home, and it was great. I thought when we got out of the shelter though that all my problems would end, and like this is it, like in a story, like it's over, it's
'Cause you got the
happy
home,
ending.
right? Yeah.
It's like now we have a place to sleep that we can call, my own bed kind of thing, which is a big deal, and
Yeah.
and I hadn't had my own bed in a long time, and well, moving forward from there, I started getting picked on in school a little bit. I didn't get like bullied hard or beat up or anything, but just the normal people would poke fun of you for your it was my clothes, it was my glasses, but most of the time it was my shoes. So I would run so much in the neighborhood, and my friend lived at 20 houses down, and I would run to his house and run back. Looking back on it, it's probably 150 meters.
Okay.
So I started being
You were
really good.
training.
Felt like a mile at the time. But
And when it was dark outside, I would just take off running back home. But yeah, I stopped riding the bus. I'm like, Mom, can you just like drop me off at school?
Yeah.
So we had like this junk of a car, man. And kids would make fun of us, for me and my sister, when we'd get dropped off in this car. And it was just
So
like,
you didn't want to ride the bus because they were picking on you about your
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah.
And then they were picking on you about the car
Yeah, when
that
we-
got you to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
everything.
Yeah. And it's in my head, it's, it sounds just like a lot that piles on, but then you become self-conscious.
Sure.
And now it's like, Mom, can you drop me off like a block over
Yeah.
and I'll walk the rest?
Right.
And so that's what we did. And I would walk to school, but in the winter, she would just take me. But we looked it up. Yeah, it was like 2.2 miles to school. So I'm in the 3rd, 4th grade. I'm walking to school.
Yeah.
And I know that was normal back in the day, but like now I think of it and I'm like, there's no way I'd let my son walk to school
Right.
that far.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
that's long. So it was 2.2 miles just
Yeah.
one way.
Yeah, just one way.
Oh, wow.
So, and
What
I
time did you have
enjoyed
to leave in the morning to get there
we
on
gauged
time?
it early and I got to school real early one day and then we would just set it back. And,
Okay.
and I'm crossing streets by myself and just,
Sure.
I think I got pushed out of the nest really early.
Yeah.
So for me, like it was always kind of that style, but,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, in school, I was really self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like to look people in the eye because I felt like I'd be a target. Like once people notice you,
100%.
then it's like, oh, the target's locked on. Like,
So if you don't
Predators-
look at them, they don't look at you, that kind of
yeah.
thing. If
So
they
I'd
don't-
always kind of put my head down and go to class
Yeah.
and kind of,
Predators always know that too.
they do.
They can pick a target a mile away.
You're right. No, that's very true. And they can sense it, So,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, like everything started to shift when I got into going into the 7th grade.
Yeah.
I started hustling. I started cutting grass and shoveling
Okay.
snow with my buddy Jordan Michael and
Jordan Michael.
yeah, Jordan Michael. He's second all time in Fairborn history for points.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
So-
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
So-
he graduate with you too?
He graduated a year under, but
Okay.
he was the friend that lived 20 houses down that
got
I
it.
would run to. But yeah, so we started doing that in the neighborhood, and then school time came, and we got all of our school supplies. But my mom said, "Hey, like next check, I'll get you a pair of shoes."
Okay.
I'm like, "Mom, school starts in 2 days."
Yeah.
So I said, if I buy these shoes, will you just cover $50 of it and then just pay me when you get paid? And she said, deal. So we made a deal on it. And then I got these shoes. I should have brought them. They're the Jordan Mellow 4s from 2007. I found them on eBay and I have 5 pairs now and they're just hung up in the warehouse and we take them to the schools when we do our shoe events and everything. But yeah, like those shoes for me, they made me feel like I was the man. Like they made me feel fast. They made me feel confident. When I walked in those, I walked a little different. So
Did you have a swagger?
I did. And then I had too much confidence, which became a bad thing in middle school. But it was better than not having any. And in my mind, they're worth so much money. Like to me, not to anybody else. But
Right.
but
But
yeah,
was it the
changed.
money or was it?
Yeah, I think they were like $120.
Okay.
And for
a kid, that's a lot of money.
You have mowed a lot of
100%.
Yeah. So it was a big deal. And then for me, I was the guy that was the backup tight end in 6th grade.
Okay.
So after I got those shoes, I started scoring touchdowns, and then I became the starter, and then I became leading the team in touchdowns and stuff like that. And it was like I literally went from the bottom to the top, and it was like these shoes. So fast forward. When I got to high school, I started working hard in track and everything, and you've heard that story. And
But I haven't.
well, we went to state, we broke some records.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Football, my junior year, we had a really good senior class that year, class of 2012, and we won the GWAC South Championship, which was the first time since I think '87 or something.
Wow.
So we all experienced some team level success, and my confidence leaving high school was so much higher than it was starting, right?
Yeah.
And I got to college fall of 2023 down in this small school called Lindsey Wilson in Kentucky.
Okay.
There was nothing there. But I had this intro to writing class, and the teacher said, it was a small class of like 20, and she was very old, and she had this Kentucky accent. I grew to love the accent.
Of course.
but
It's adorable.
it's so adorable until everybody has it, and you're like, oh. But she said, I want you to write about something or someone that made an impact on you. And I thought about those shoes, and there was a lot of things that I was thinking about writing about, but I chose the shoes. And she said, come up to me after class. So we were in this line, and say where you're from, who you are, and what you're going to write about. And I told her, I'm Matt Cline. I'm from Fairborn, Ohio. I'm going to write about how a pair of shoes changed my life. And she hit me back with, shoes. She said, how could a pair of shoes change your life? It's just a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I'm
Just
like,
a pair of shoes. So that's where
that's
whole
kind
name
of
the
where
organization came
years
from.
before it happened, like that's kind of the start. And I remember thinking like, well, I started telling her like, no, it's not, and start explaining. She goes, go ahead and write about it.
Save
I'm
it
looking
for the
forward to
paper.
your paper.
Yeah.
And I wish I could rewrite the paper now. And because that had not existed. So I ended up transferring out of there. I hurt my shoulder. I had labrum surgery.
Yeah.
And my senior year in high school, got it repaired, and then reported to camp in June. I had surgery in January, December. So
not quite healed.
they give you the rehab, and
Sure.
that's for a normal person. But when you're talking football or something super physical,
Yeah.
looking back on it, I just probably should have rehabbed twice as hard. But I ended up re-tearing it. So they put me in this brace. I climbed up the depth chart, and then once I got in this brace, I felt like I was going 80% and everyone was going 100. So I decided just to retire.
You retire.
So I transferred back and went to Wright State and started my journey there. So,
Yes.
but that's where Just a Pair of Shoes started. And my junior year in college, I had some really hard stuff going on at home.
Okay.
And things just took a turn. And I'm like, I'm in the ROTC program. Because I'm getting up early. I was just doing it for the PT. I was thinking about truly going for the Navy SEALs.
Okay.
And I was going to commission as an officer. So I was like, all right, I'll do the PT stuff. So I'm waking up at 5:30 and going to Wright State and working out with these guys. And I'm working so hard and trying to make it out of where I'm from and all these circumstances. And I realized like my family at that moment in time, they were holding me back.
Oh.
And I'm like
your mom and sister?
yeah, there was some stuff going on that put my mom in a depression, and my sister was making some bad choices, and I was like, man, this is affecting me.
Yeah.
So I moved out, and I moved in with my best friend. He went to Ohio State, and I was still here. So I was living with his mom, Jody Newsom, and she took so good care of me and just gave me a place to stay, and didn't ask for any money in rent or anything.
amazing.
I cut the grass and would try to help out, but yeah, it was really good. And I was so close to making it, and I was just like, man, I gotta. So I became homeless by choice at this point, and then finished Wright State and everything
So
else.
you were still able to finish school.
Yep.
But you just needed to kind of reset emotionally.
I needed a different environment. And since then, my mom and sister are doing great and everything else. But it was just a bad year or two. And I just couldn't do it. So, but it was, I met my wife at Wright State. And, it's like.
What year did you meet her? Senior year?
Senior year,
Okay.
yeah. And I actually asked her out on a date, and she said no. Because she was like failing, like not failing, but if she didn't pass one class, she was not graduating with her degree.
Yeah.
And she'd have to go back and retake it. So she's like, no.
I can't. No distractions.
Sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man.
Not that she didn't like you. She was just trying to stay focused.
I thought that she did. And so I'm like, okay, but
No means no.
No means no, right?
We don't care about the reason.
but she's asking, so where do you live? Getting to know me. And I'm like, well, I live with my friend's mom. And why? Oh, well, it's a long story, and I don't want to talk about it. And it was just, And I'm like, so she's been with me ever since then, and it's been really cool because she's been with me when I had nothing and everything else. So she's got to.
And now you got
our
something.
journey.
So how did you
now
talk her into going on a date?
she passed the class. She passed the
And then
class.
did she
and I kept
ask you?
asking.
You just kept asking?
I kept asking, yeah.
Good for
and we
you.
went to the zoo, Cincinnati Zoo.
That was your first date?
Yep. So every year we go back and we see the lights, and so it's special to us. But she makes this joke that I'm like, do you want a pretzel? She's like, yeah. I'm like, do you want to split one? Because I just didn't want a whole pretzel.
Yeah.
So she makes this joke that I was broke.
You're half a pretzel man.
You're so cheap, you wanted to split a pretzel. But we laugh about it so much now. But
What's her name?
her name's Catherine Cline.
Hi, Catherine.
Yeah, she better be watching this now. But no, she's so supportive and she's awesome. And it's been really cool.
We could have had her come in. She could have sat and watched
Hold
the
down
whole
the big
thing.
chair
could've,
behind
yeah.
my pile of junk on that desk.
We have a little 1-year-old son, and
Oh,
it's
you
his,
do?
yeah, it's his bedtime at 6:30.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay. Oh, that's
so
that's
our
perfect.
scheduling's
Yeah.
been it's hard. It's really hard right now, as you guys know.
Figure it out.
Well, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Absolutely.
It just changes. Every season is
Just
beautiful.
grows, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just changes.
Eventually, he was looking for a set of car keys, and then you got all this free time.
Oh man, then you probably have too much free time, right? Yeah.
Well, but then you can teach him how to play golf, and then you guys can
Yeah,
golf together,
true.
and
Yeah,
all the
and
fun
working
things.
out and-
Yeah,
Absolutely.
throwing the football.
I'm looking forward to it, but I don't want to say that because then people are like, "Oh, don't rush it." you
Don't
know,
rush
so-
it. I
Take
know,
your time.
but
So
that's why
we're-
each season is so precious.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Count your marbles.
Treasure that time. Count your marbles. That's right.
Oh yeah, right now he's about to walk, so I don't take any like super long trips because I'm like I could miss the moment, and my wife would probably never let that one go.
Would she tell you that he started walking?
She probably would. She's so excited.
know.
We're so
You
excited
couldn't
over
keep
the
it.
milestones. My son said "I love you" the other night for the first time, and it's like, oh.
There we
So
go.
a lot of cutting onions and tissues.
I know. It's like right here.
But yeah, it's been an awesome journey, and yeah. So Just a Pair of Shoes started when I was in college.
Okay.
I'm living rent free, and Mama Jode's not making me pay any bills, and I have a business at the time, and I'm making a little money, and I'm like, man, like, what can I do? And I found out there was a teacher that I went to school with, and now she's a teacher in the district, and she said that one of her students came to school with football cleats. So she's like, hey, do you have a pair of shoes? Like we could get them. And,
Oh, wow.
and then that kind of got me thinking, well, how many other kids like really need shoes?
Yeah.
And so I emailed the principal that with the No Excuses Scholarship, I'm like, hey, how many kids are like that? I'd like to help out, but I want it to be like a private thing. I don't want anybody to know about it. And
Yep.
well, she hit me back with like 13 names. I thought there'd be like 5.
Yeah.
Right.
So it ended up costing like $800. We didn't have like wholesale pricing and stuff like that.
Right.
And
So,
it was,
so you just give them a pair of shoes, and they're nice shoes.
yeah.
They're
yeah,
like
they're
the
Nikes.
kind of shoes that,
Yep.
like what you stepped into that made a difference for you.
Exactly.
But you went into it like the shoe fairy. Like, let me just
Yes.
do this.
Yeah. So the thing was, I showed up by myself. I told Mama Jode about it since she
Yep.
was housing me and everything.
Right.
And 3 kids didn't have socks. And I'm like, wow, like I had never experienced that.
Yeah.
I never had that problem. And so I had to go out and buy socks. And I was like, I don't want to sound negative, but I was like, oh, the bill got larger.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm like,
It
man.
does. Yeah.
And it was so awesome to experience. And then I realized I'm like, well, I can't really tell anybody. Like I told my friends, but
Yeah.
I told them, like, don't post about it or anything.
Yeah.
And the next year I said, well, why don't you go with me? And then it kind of started, and I think we did 35 kids. And then in the 3rd year we said, you know what, why don't we open it up to the community and let everybody experience, what we're getting to experience. And the one-on-one attention too was really good because I had 13 kids in this class in the first year. And I'm like, I'm helping him try them on, then I'm helping her. And then, it's like some of them don't know how to tie their shoes. And it was,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
What age?
we like to focus on third through 5th.
3rd through 5th grade.
Because
Okay.
personally for me, I got bullied or picked on 3rd through 5th.
Okay.
And in the 6th grade, I did too, but that's where adult sizes come in and the shoe cost goes up.
Yeah.
So we,
But you're cherry picking these little guys and gals right out of the weeds and just giving them the blessing that you had received.
yeah. And
Super cool.
And it's really cool so we sit them down and we have 3 promises. We preach the importance of being a good friend, student, and then son or daughter, or just we change it to kid at home.
Yeah.
One event, a kid came up to me and he said, we say good son or daughter. He came up to me and said, I live with my grandparents. I don't live with my mom. How can I be a good, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
So he hit me in the
Change the
heartstrings
name.
and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we need to change it. But yeah, so it's been really cool. But we asked the kids, we're like, who's ever got picked on for their shoes or their glasses? And I've been doing it for years, but it shocks me every single time they raise their hands because it's like all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's unfiltered, it's authentic, it's it's real.
And
I'm
they're
like, man.
ruthless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
The other kids are ruthless.
Yeah.
the other kids are ruthless.
Just
And
brutal.
kids, they say kids and old people are super honest. And it's true. So it's cool to hear these genuine answers, and because we try to interview them and you never know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a
So
surprise.
you've always had this entrepreneurial mind, though, from shoveling snow and cutting grass to raise
Yeah.
your own money. You've never lacked a work ethic, it would seem. And so get us from graduation to making a little bit of money, still living with Mama Jode. Let's get to starting your business, your company.
Yeah, so I started when I was in college. I was working at McDonald's and Longhorn Steakhouse, and I had an amazing boss at McDonald's. And I had a terrible boss at Longhorn.
Okay.
And I was working there so I could be a server. And you know, every young kid thinks they're going to make more money serving.
Right.
And so that was kind of like, okay, we'll do that. But she never promoted me up. And her thing was she couldn't fill my shoes. But I realized after working there for 2 or maybe 3 years,
So were you just busing?
yeah, I was a busboy
For
and then a
2.5
host.
years?
Yeah,
And hustle.
wow.
yeah, and
Obviously, she didn't want to lose you in that spot.
no, and I found a way, like with the servers and the closing shifts, I would clean their tables and they'd give me a couple bucks.
Right.
You know, and I'm just standing up there anyways. But
Yeah.
I always found a way to maximize the opportunity and to, you know, get as much as I can. So, but what got me was my grades fell.
Okay.
Wright State put me on academic probation. And I remember going into that meeting with the advisor, and she goes, you know, what's the problem? And I'm like, well, like I personally don't party or drink or anything. Just coming from my background, I've always stayed away. And because she said, well, you need to quit partying. I said,
That was her assumption, huh?
yeah. I'm like, oh man, like I don't even drink.
Yeah. Right.
So I said, I'll get my grades up, you know, and I was just adjusting from a small college to a big college. And the bio classes as freshman year for me were really tough. I was trying so hard and failing these tests. And I'm like, how much harder do I actually have to? Anyways.
Well, and you were working 2 jobs, right?
And I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And I was doing truck at McDonald's. So I was managing all their inventory. And then they let me order the trucks, which was really cool. But the trucks would come late. And here I am getting off at 1 a.m. And I took
my
all
goodness.
morning classes because I'm a morning type of person. And it was killing me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, there's people that can juggle a lot of stuff. Me, no, I can only juggle like 2 or 3 things. I can't juggle 5. I'll end up dropping a few. So my grades dropped. And so I said, I'll get them up, you know, no big deal. And I go to leave. She goes, oh, no. You have to sign this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sign
this is an
what?
official
It was like-
document.
It was like some agreement. Like if I don't get my grades up, I'm getting kicked out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so that's when it was set in. I'm like, oh, I really have to get them. I
Yeah.
have to get these grades up. So I quit McDonald's and I started working at Longhorn because I thought my upside would be better there. Then my grades did get up and everything, but I started. So I always shopped at Goodwill growing up, and we would actually go. Some years we'd go for back to school shopping at Goodwill. And I've always been a thrifty type of guy, and it was way before it was cool. And now
I know, it's so cool. Everybody shops there now.
But I started finding stuff, and I remember being a kid, like I would find something that would be like a 2XL. And I was like, man, that golf polo is so nice. I can't fit it.
Right.
I'm a schmedium, you know?
Right.
So
Medium.
So I'm like, somebody would want that. Right. And like the Tiger Woods edition golf polos are so nice. So I started buying them and putting them on eBay and selling them. So I became a thrifter, and I think we sold at our height, we sold like $90,000.
Yeah.
And it's $4 items, you know, selling for 16 or 20.
Right.
And I started making more money during my shifts, bussing tables. My phone would go off, and I would make more money on eBay than I would working my tail off at Longhorn Steakhouse. So I'm like, at one point I started making more, and I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I left.
Smarter.
That
not
is
harder.
so
Yep.
cool.
And the boss, she tried to talk me into, I think it was a turnover ratio thing, but she talked me into working once every 3 months.
Once every 3.
Yeah. And I told her,
Just so it
like,
didn't look bad on her.
yeah, I think so. But I remember telling her, like, I'm selling used clothing, and just imagine a kid saying that. It's like, good luck.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh,
Crazy kid.
but it worked out, and then I got to work my own hours. And
Of course.
Then I could work when I wanted to, and I could
Right.
work late at night, or I could work, you know. So it was, the flexibility was perfect for me.
Absolutely.
Did you only do clothes for
Yeah.
thrifting? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, used shoes.
And used shoes.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then that's what kind of got me into the new shoes. And there's what I've always learned as a kid. You can ask my 3rd grade teacher. We got this agenda with bathroom passes. And Dr. Brackenoff brings this up because this was brought up when I went back and got that scholarship. And well, I lost mine, and I gave a couple dollars to get a new one. Well, that came with all new bathroom passes. So for me, I've always saw like weak spots
Yes.
in systems, and
Yes.
and an
Here's where you can
opportunity.
capitalize and
So,
do the right thing.
so I think the bathroom pass is funny, but
It is funny. It's hilarious. But it's also like, I mean, you're the perfect person to have received the No Excuses award.
yeah. Looking back on it, I think it was cool because they invited me back to the school, and I got to talk to 800 kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was my first public speaking. And I my premise was selling them on going to college,
Oh,
why you should go, and how they have ice cream, and you can some colleges you can it's a meal plan, you can eat all you want, and
So those are the things that you were selling them on?
yeah,
That's
looking
funny.
back, an 18-year-old kid going in there and with that mindset was kind of funny, but
So because of the eBay, you were able to get your grades up
yep.
and ended up graduating.
Yep, I graduated with a 2.67 at the end of the day, but I had a 1.4
Yeah.
they
walking
were,
into the.
but you had to sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
I will get this up.
I will, I promise. So it was, but I think one more story about Wright State is they have an emerging marketing leaders program, and for me, I always felt like I lost. Like I never go into state and everything else. Like I realized that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you work hard, you can go anywhere. But I never was like the first pick. Like I always felt like I was the last pick, or I was the kid that got picked on. And even though I was a team captain in football, I still felt like I was the kid that still got picked on. So it was definitely a real humbling and full circle for me. But when I got to Wright State, one of my professors, Dr. Amara, she's like, hey, I want you to fill out this scholarship. I want you to put in for this. And it was called the Emerging Marketing Leaders. And so I filled it out, and there was some work there, like a big essay. And I filled it out, and I remember I turned it in, and they're like, oh, like you have to have a 3.0 GPA.
Okay.
And I'm like, I was so mad. I was so upset.
You did the work, and then
Look, I did all the work for nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get this.
Yeah.
So I go in there, and what the program is, they take 12 students, and they give each student $1,000 they can apply towards their tuition. And then you get matched up with a mentor in Dayton. And these are chief marketing officers, LexisNexis, Reynolds and Reynolds, Morris Furniture was really cool, Wilderness Agency. There was all these businesses, and there was entrepreneurship, and then there was also just marketing.
Okay.
So I go in there. They're like, at this point in time, I'm a junior, and I'm selling $400,000 online, and I'm mostly doing new shoes.
Okay.
My business has grown, but they're looking at my resume with the Twitter account and everything, and they're like,
$400,000 of shoes online.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was out of Mama Joe's house. Like we have pictures, we can show you.
Love it.
She went. It's a funny story. She went to TDY. She works on base, so she went to Taiwan for like I don't know, a week or two. I said, hey, there's this really big sale. You care if I like use the living room?
Can I have your living room?
You care because she has like 2 living rooms, and like this one didn't get used, and it was so big. I'm like, you care if I like put some shoes in there, and they'll be out before you get back, or or a little after. She's like, yeah, sure. I filled it to the ceiling. Like there's pictures, and she always brings it up every year when it hits her timeline. And it's I filled her shoes or her house with shoes, and it's looking back on it, it's really comical.
It's really comical.
That's awesome.
But it's but yeah, like we were doing volume.
Apparently.
We were really selling. And I get in there, and all
With your mentor.
yeah,
Now you're in there with your mentor.
It's all like 12 of them, and it
Okay.
was so intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, and they're asking me all these questions on my resume, and they say you have the best resume out of any applicants, but you have the lowest GPA out of any applicants. Why should we take a chance on you? I was so upset. I'm like, I'm not going to get this. I was going through a lot at home and my family, and I'm waking up every single day to get this degree. And I told him, I'm like, hey, everybody comes to school, goes to class, but we all have a different reason why we're here.
Right.
And I just laid into him, man. I'm telling him my story, just a brief. I'm like, I just have to graduate. I have to get this degree because I want to make it out. And like, I don't have the option to quit.
Right.
I can't just say I'm done. I don't want to be here. My GPA is low. I hate school. I'm not a really great learner. My high school GPA was like a 2.8 or something. And I'm just like, it's not that I'm dumb. I'm like, you can see what I'm doing.
Right.
You can grind.
So
Yeah, because you're obviously a hard worker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Looking back
Not
at it,
afraid
I'm
to
like,
get it done.
understanding now what everyone else was doing. I'm like, yeah, I was working really hard.
Sure.
And
What they say?
I just remember just laying into them, all that stuff. And
Yep.
I'm going,
There's
my
some
voice
passion
is
involved.
raised.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm like, but thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. I just left. I walked out of there and it was over.
Like a
so-
Shark Tank meeting.
Yeah, I guess so. And I remember the chair of marketing the next day, he emailed me. He's like, Matt, I don't know what you said to those guys, but hey,
They all.
they want to give you a chance.
Yes.
They want to give you the mentorship. You won't get the $1,000, but,
Okay.
but two of them want to take you out to lunch. And it was Rob Claben from Morris Furniture.
Okay.
And it was Karen Boyle from Dayton Freight.
Nice.
And I call them like they were mom and dad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they just took me under their wing and
Yeah.
hey, they picked the right one to do it.
That's awesome.
And so Rob's, we still stay connected a lot. He just nominated me for the Dayton Business Journal 40 Under 40.
Wow.
And so I got that. And it's really cool to have somebody, and for me, many people
Right.
in my circle and just really pushing me in the right direction and just mentoring me
Seeing
along
your
the
potential,
way. And
steering in a
pushing
good
me
way.
towards my maximum potential. So.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, and then the EML program. So I got in there. It was great. The next year, they lowered the GPA. And then I was
Nice.
accepted. And I got the money. It was cool.
Nice.
And then
Did they lower
I'm
it
gonna
for
push
you?
pause.
they did.
I got to
They
pee.
did.
Oh, pause.
That's the first time I've ever had to pause in a
Pause.
recording, but we're pausing.
I just asked Matt what the homeless shelter was like now compared to when they were there. And he said it's a lot nicer now.
They have it's an old hotel that somebody donated and then they renovated it.
Okay.
And I can't remember when I think 2014 or
Is
something.
it in Xenia?
Yeah. It's on the main street
Okay.
that passes the courthouse, Detroit Street, maybe.
Is it a women's shelter?
It's a family shelter.
Okay.
It's predominantly women, but sometimes there's a single father or two people that are having a baby or something. So
Okay.
it's so it's full circle. We go back every year for our nonprofit and give shoes to the shelter. So that's been a really cool experience. And then so it's cool to be on the other side. But so to pick up where we left off, the EML, a couple years later, they asked me to be a mentor on the board, which had never been done. So it's just been a really cool full circle moment.
Suddenly you're getting picked on for different reasons.
Now I'm getting picked.
Picked up.
Yeah, picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. So it's and then the homeless shelter that I grew up in, I'm a board member.
Okay.
So that's been really cool to be on the other side and then to see how operations work and how we're still helping families, which has been really cool. So, and then track, I got paid, but I coached for 4 years. So I felt like I gave back to the program that gave so much to me. And,
Right.
and then I'm in the EML program still and mentoring college kids. And it just takes me back. It makes me think about my journey and how much I was doing. But at the time on anything on my resume, I never thought it was like, man, you're killing it or you're crushing it or you're doing so much or, you're the guy or anything like that. I just always had my head down, just keep working and working. And one day I looked up and I'm like, wow, we have a business. And, it's like, wow, that's a long journey and super proud of everything and just all the people that have made an impact on me. And
Propped you up along the way.
propped me up, man. So it's hard when I win these awards. I've won like 3 awards this year, and it's great that the attention goes to just a pair of shoes. But I always feel like it's this village, man. It's all these people that made me who I am. They need the award. So I have this winner's not remorse, but just like this, thing. I was like, well, I get all the credit and, I'm the face of the organization for my nonprofit and everything, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are working and giving their time and donating monthly and stuff like that. And I feel like they're really the winners,
Yeah.
So
Well, that's your humble
great spirit.
heart, and
Yeah, I was
it is a
gonna
great
say, that's
spirit,
just
and
a
that's
great spirit.
part of what's making it so phenomenal that
Thank
you've
you.
been able to do this. What's been some of the hardest things about running a nonprofit?
the hardest things, from running a for-profit to a nonprofit, I think you have to be a shark. You have to be very stern. When you're giving something away, you got to be really careful because there's this many people that would want something like that.
Okay.
So we like to, we work with the schools. So
Yeah.
we don't work with parents.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the good, there's always the bad. People don't get to hear about the bad, but with one school, we gave a pair of shoes to a little girl. She was like a size 11, women's for a fifth grader,
Whoa, yeah.
and her mom said that she needs a size 8. And at first, I thought, oh, we messed up. But how it works for our events is we give these kids shoes, and then we check them, and then if they don't,
you gave her the right shoes, but
there was a different. We get the right pair if they don't, and if they were 3 sizes too big, we would have known.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
Come to find out, the parent wore a size 8,
Right.
and they were trying to get it. So it was. So it's.
So that's why you work
part
with
of
the
it.
schools.
Yeah, we did an event one time. Our hardest season is like back to school because we work in a system with a school where they go in and measure all the kids. We show up with all the sizes that we needed, and then we bring extras. When a back to school event happens, it's hard because you don't know how many kids are going to show up, and you don't know what sizes you're going to need.
Yeah.
With that being said, you're going to have kids go home empty-handed. So we did an event one time, a back to school event with a church, and it was amazing. But man, some of the parents want shoes, and when I get cussed out at a church, I'm like, whoa.
What?
Yeah, it was outside, but I realized
Because
I'm like,
the parents wanted the shoes?
it's hard, and the kid has to be there in order to get shoes.
Right,
In the
yeah.
summer, that's what we do.
For sure.
You can't say you have 3 kids at home. These are the sizes you need. So you have to be just very stern.
Gotta be
And,
present to win.
Yeah.
and I think that's been hard, but it's a business at the end of the day. I don't take a salary. We have a team that does work and preps all the events. That's been newly approved. Back in the day when we started, I used to get all the sizes and hunt for each size and then write each name on the box. And it was a lot of work. Now we can get it done in an hour. We have an inventory and the guys do it, and I can do it or they can do it. So it takes a lot
Systems.
of a very good system. And and going back to, it's like if I win this award, but we have a lot of people doing all the work behind the scenes. So it's been really cool. But yeah, charity wise, I think another hard thing is like, some people don't understand the cause. Everybody, I think, has 2 causes that they really relate to.
Okay.
And they really support, whether that goes back to their past or like, cancer. If someone has breast cancer in your family, you automatically, that's a cause you support. And some people don't understand, getting picked on and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and that's okay. It's,
But I think more and more people do get that, right?
when they go to an event, they understand exactly what it is.
So how many events do you guys do a year?
Oh man, we do a lot. We used to do 50 shoes per school. Now we're getting into 100 per school if the need's high. We went to a Dayton public school, and the principal said, all of our kids need shoes. And he's
All
like,
of
400 or 500 kids. I'm like, whoa, buddy. Like, we only have 100 for you. You're going to have to,
Right.
That's the hard part. You're going to have to select which kids,
Right.
So they usually kind of pick a grade.
Okay.
But I said, I don't know about that.
And
He said,
everybody in that grade got a pair of shoes? then?
yeah. He said,
Okay.
well, why don't you come to our school and look? So for me, I'm a sneakerhead. So usually when I meet somebody or if I'm looking at shoes and I'm seeing what brand they're wearing and everything else. And so I went to the school. I watched the kids walk to lunch, and there was I seen like 200 kids. There was maybe 3 kids with new shoes, and there was a lot of kids with fake shoes on that I just noticed. So it was very
Fake shoes?
Yeah, just
Is that like
counterfeit
a fake Nike?
Yeah, fake
Okay.
Nike or just like they look
That's a
cool,
thing.
but yeah, it's a big thing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So they still look cool. So would those kids get picked on? Would anybody really know
if they knew? A lot of
Okay.
kids don't know,
Yeah,
but since I sell
especially that
shoes and
age.
I'm around all these shoes, I can
Spot them a mile away.
I can spot them a mile away.
I had a kid in here yesterday who was wearing a $750 pair of sneakers.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't
you
know
probably
that.
want to know what they are.
Well, they were
Probably Travis Scott's or something.
they were Nike. It was a black shoe, black swoosh.
Was the
But it
swoosh
said-
backwards?
I don't think so. But the words, like puffy words, it said Air, AIR.
Oh, the Air Max Tempo. They may be like a really rare one. But
I don't know. But I'm like,
it's
seriously?
And you were like, no creases.
It's a teenager. Well, and that's what made me notice.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, these are new shoes. Like, you got no miles. He said, no, I've had them for a while.
Wow.
I said, you don't wear them much. He said, well, I don't want to because, you don't want to wreck them. I had no idea who people pay
that
$750
leads
for a pair of
really
shoes.
good point because it's like, when a kid goes, like as a kid, when you grow up, your mom usually picks out your school clothes. You don't really pick them, but your shoes, you know, your mom has to take you in there. You got to fit them. You got to make sure they're, and she asks you, you know, what shoes do you want? So as a kid, one of the really important things is like shoes are the first thing that you get to actually express yourself. You get to pick something that you like. So, and the colors are usually not what your mom wants, you know, not the black and white shoes that match everything. No, you want the purple and orange and
Marketing
So
genius.
brighter is
it's
better?
A marketing genius.
Brighter is better.
Brighter's better for the younger kids.
Yeah.
We have the Fairborn Primary School next week. We have an event, and we used to ask what their favorite color was. We kind of got away from it because kids were putting rainbow and gold and silver, and it was really funny. And we tried to accommodate them based on their color, but it kind of got out of hand with some of these kids. And
Very
Right.
easily.
it makes
I can
you
see that.
realize that, you know, hey, like these kids want to express themselves and they have a certain style even at that age. So your first pair of shoes or stuff like that is really important.
Yeah.
The kid has a $700 pair of shoes on because, you know, it's also a culture thing based
Yes,
on the
it is.
different backgrounds.
100%.
But it makes you feel successful. It makes you feel like a hard worker and everything else because you wouldn't have those shoes if you didn't work hard or
And he is a hard worker.
Urban attire.
Hard
Yeah.
worker?
Kid,
Yep.
kid works, right?
Because he really, I mean, that's important to him.
100%.
Yeah.
you can tell a lot about someone by their shoes.
Amen.
That's not just a Forrest Gump quote.
Yeah.
But that's
Do you have
good.
any idea how many shoes you've gifted?
Yeah, it's 25. We're a little over 2,500. I think it's 2,567.
Wow.
Okay.
On every post on Facebook and Instagram, on the hashtag, it'll say pair number,
Got it.
and that'll be where we're at. But
that's
we're
so
closing in on 3,000 pairs, and we're getting to 1,000 pairs given away each year.
Okay.
Last year was like 870 or something. So
Right.
we're
So
close.
you're new at this. I mean, you've been hustling the game a long time. You know what
Yes.
you got, and now you got the systems down.
Yep.
Ever do you see yourself ever shutting it down? Like, hey, we're just not going to do this anymore.
I think, you know, since I sell shoes on the for-profit side and we're always buying shoes, that gives us an opportunity to look for or whatever comes our way with the kids' shoes.
Right.
So it makes it easy. If I got out of my business on my for-profit where I get my salary from and everything else, it would make it harder.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't be around, you know, finding the product. And I think that's like the biggest battle. It's me seeing a pair of Nikes for $14 as low as, and I'm like, man, like I could have had those. We could have afforded those, but we didn't find them. So we're sourcing those good
So it's a
deals.
game.
It's a big
Well,
game.
that's
I mean,
the
you chase it.
entrepreneurial part of it for
True.
you
That's
because
true.
you're finding treasures.
Yes. Yeah. We're finding
You're
some hidden
treasure
gems.
hunters.
And sometimes we find these amazing deals. And I'm just like, and on the for-profit side, we can't sell the kids' shoes because kids' feet are always growing and parents don't want to, they want to go cheap starting out. Of
course.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So we don't sell them. So it's like no one else necessarily buys them.
Got it.
So we'll buy them for our nonprofit. And yeah, we've got a big inventory now. And now it's, oh man, like we used to have a school, go out and buy each individual pair,
Okay.
each size we needed, write all the names and everything. Now we have an inventory. We just go in, pull what we need.
Lock what you need.
And like I said, we're done in an hour. So it's like 50
So you
kids,
have your own
done.
warehouse of
Yep.
shoes. So just a pair of shoes, 5 years. Where do you see it?
I see us getting a deal with Nike or Air Jordan and them sending us the inventory or us buying it from them. And that would set me up for forever.
Yeah.
So if I have to exit my for-profit, I'll always have that connection to give shoes away. And I think it fits in their marketing scheme and it makes a lot of sense. It's just a matter of time and making the right connections to get in there. We've wrote them a couple letters and we haven't heard back, but
Do they respond at all?
we haven't got a
Not
response,
yet.
but we're going to keep
Nike.
trying.
If you don't ask, the answer is always
That's
no.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to start writing a letter every month and sending it, but I just haven't got there yet.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's a good 5 year goal though.
Yeah, I
love
think
that.
if we can get a deal with Nike, we will buy the shoes from Nike at our price point.
Yeah.
Which we're not just asking for something for free. I think in business, from being the entrepreneurship side, it's not always adding value, but also taking value. So it's It's an even exchange.
That'll be exchange. That's how the universe
we'll
operates.
buy them from you, and then we'll give them away. Like that's a win-win for
Yeah,
everybody.
I was going to say, who's losing there?
Nobody. So it's really cool on the nonprofit side too that there's no losers.
Yeah.
The kids win, the community wins. If a business sponsors it, they win, and then the district wins. Like everybody wins, nobody loses.
I love that.
So and then we win because we just want to make kids feel
Make
important.
the world a better place with kids and
So
shoes.
you had a very important story that was transformative for you with a pair of shoes. Is there somebody else that you know of that has a similar story?
Yeah, it's really cool to shoe talk with some people and hear their story no matter what age.
Yeah.
One of our board members, Mark Landers, he was my old football coach and he was very influential to me, but he joined our board and I was kind of caught off guard because he's really busy as well.
Yeah.
And when he was so interested in it, I said, so wait, why are you so interested? He said, one, I'm a big fan of you and anything you do, I'm in. He said, two, he joined the basketball team and they wore, not Converse, the Sandlot has them, PF Flyers. He talked about these PF Flyers and I think you shared a similar story with me.
I got a pair.
Still do?
I had a pair as a kid, and I found them again at like black high top PFs. I still got them.
Really?
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was two kind of shoes. There was Converse, and then there was PF Flyers. Those were the shoes for the serious athlete.
Oh,
If you went,
Now you know.
and they had two colors, black and white.
really?
And they had high top and low top. Those were your choices. If you didn't go shopping with your mom, you might get kids, and you will never live it down.
Wow.
You mean stuck with kids?
Yeah, she would get kids like nobody wants. And but yeah, now you build a Chuck Taylor's online. You could build it. Every panel's a different color.
Yeah.
All of it. But back then, two colors, black and white, high top, low top.
Wow.
And only the serious athlete wore that shoe. Everybody else, kids.
Wow. Well, did you hear about USCS grants or something or grants? Or there's people always, they're telling me their story and they're like, yeah, I didn't want to wear them USCS grants or something. And I'm like, but those must have been like, the off brand,
Right.
really
That's probably-
cheap.
Here's what
Yeah.
happens if your mom goes shopping for you. You're getting some you don't want. Bank on it.
So it's cool because he said he tried out for the basketball team, not because he liked basketball, so he could get the shoes.
Yes.
So I was like, wow. And then
still
James
got 'em.
Williams, who you guys had on the podcast,
Uh-huh.
also had a pretty private story with me on his experience
Yeah.
with his son growing up and him finding out, how it is and stuff
Yeah.
just through his son. And
Yeah.
so it's,
About shoes and
and how
it-
important they
that-
are
yes.
and, having the wrong shoes. Physically, it's a problem and they don't last. People always say, why Nike? Well, because the quality is one of the best. And you can't argue that. My Nikes have lasted so long, but when you buy cheaper, they just don't last.
Yeah.
So they fall apart. Right. So the kids call it, or the principals call it talking. That means when your soul is split
Slapping.
and
Yeah.
it's just talking. So, oh man, but
One of the questions that you have on here is, are you proud to be from the small town of Fairborn?
yes, I am. I try to give back as much as I can.
Yeah.
With the Ring of Honor, it's been nice because we get the opportunity to go back and speak to the high school, to a class, if we want to. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I'm in. So
100%.
So I try to, I try to give back as much as I can. And one time a teacher said, man, you're always here. And I'm like, well, yeah, because it's, because I want to give back. Just because, like I said before, it's everything that's given me so much, I try to give back to where I got so much benefit from. And if I can help kids, like I definitely will. And I have an interesting journey and career path. And
Yeah, you really
so
do.
it's very diverse if the kids hear all different types of things.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's
Bridge
for
building.
sure.
I think of it like bridge building. You're just
Yeah.
reaching back and helping people that may not even know they need help yet.
yeah, absolutely. And the Gatorade story still lingers through the halls at the high school. And
Is that right?
I think it's hilarious. The teachers bring it up to me all the time. But now there's another kid selling Gatorades. So he heard the story and he's, so that's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
super
So
proud
kind
to be
of
from Fairborn.
walking in your shoes.
Yeah, a little
walking
bit.
in your shoes.
And hopefully he does better than I did. But yeah, it's super proud to be from Fairborn. And you wear it on your sleeve and you realize that there's so many really cool alumni from Fairborn. And once you start understanding and learning more about them, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a small network. So
That is
anyways.
cool. You guys are planning on having a 5K coming up
Yeah.
May
Yep.
10th, is that right?
May 10th,
10th?
at James Williams' place.
Oh, really? Is that where
Southern
it's gonna
Ohio
start?
Brewery. Yep.
Okay.
He's a huge supporter, and we're so thankful for our partnership.
Hi,
with
James.
him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does a great job, and his
Yeah.
facility is beautiful. I
Oh,
think, as you
yeah.
guys know, and
Right.
the bike path there is. I think it's the best place, man.
I agree.
Perfect.
It's shaded. There's deer. There's all kinds of wildlife, and there's even snakes on the bike path. Just a heads up. But
It's spring.
Yeah, that just happens sometimes. It's nature.
you're out there. I mean, it's really cool, and we have a good time, and we raise some money, and
So how do people get involved with that?
so you can sign up at justapairofshoes.org. We
Okay.
have a little tab that says 5K, and you can sign up. Last year we had like 280 people. It was crazy.
Wow.
So it was really cool to see the support. And when people are signing up and I don't recognize the name,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like it's just really humbling, and it means so much to me and on all the board members that, hey, people want to support this
Yeah.
and they want to come out. And there's a lot of people that don't like to run, and we have like 80% walkers.
Yeah.
But these people take time out of their day right before Mother's Day, and they show up and they're walking with their son or daughter or family. And
Right.
it's just awesome to see how many people really care.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think caring is like the most important thing. People that care and they help without a financial gain or anything else, those are the people that change the world. So
That is for sure, like you.
Good things.
there's so many people that impacted me that makes me want to be that way. So makes sense.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So 5K, we'll be out there and
Okay.
we'll have a good time.
That sounds
and
great. What time did you say?
we start at 11, but
Okay.
registration opens up at I think 9 or 9:30.
Okay. That sounds good.
But yeah, it's a good time.
How many followers do your dogs have on TikTok?
They have like, I think 18,000 or something.
Well, tell us a little bit about your dogs then.
So about the dogs and me and my wife's philosophy with video being so predominant now. Someone told us, so we love golden retrievers, and I'm like, our dogs are little puppies, and I'm like, well, let's like record this milestone and let's post it on a page. And again, we didn't tell nobody about it. We didn't repost it to our story. We literally just posted it there for one reason, so we could go back and look at it. Because in your camera roll, I don't know what your camera roll
my
looks
gosh.
like, but like I have 7,000 videos in mine.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I want to find a video, I can't find it.
Yeah.
So I made a page for it, and we gave our dog a bath, and it got 10 million views.
Oh my gosh.
And it was
For bathing your dog.
for a little bath, and we just periodically we like to go back and look at all these memories and just we cherish the moment so much. And I think a lot of great things happen when you're not trying to make money, or you're not trying to go viral and stuff like this.
Just
and
real life.
And TikTok paid us.
Did they really?
Yeah. So we got $200 or something, and
That's amazing.
we're not content creators. We don't keep up with it, and our dogs are older now, and but it's interesting how it happened. So
just
now with
very
our
organically.
son, just organically, and I think TikTok's really good for organic content. And
Okay.
with our son now, we kind of do the similar thing, but it's the privacy thing's hard because you don't want everyone watching your family and your son, but. But when it was his first birthday, we had little pancakes with candles on it, and we sang happy birthday to him, and we put that one on there. And it's just good to capture the moments. So I'm really big on capturing the moment because I could tell you about it, but you got to see it.
Right.
So
Video is everything.
video is everything.
So good.
And it's easy now.
Yeah. And so as far as people following you on social media with Just a Pair of Shoes, then you guys have all those accounts, Facebook, TikTok.
Yep. Just Pair of Shoes on Facebook. LinkedIn we think is really important.
Yeah.
And Instagram.
And
we're on Twitter, but nobody really looks at Twitter.
Okay, one last question. How many pairs of shoes do you have?
I have like 12,000 pairs, I think, in my personal collection.
12,000, you guys. He said 12,000.
Our warehouse is like, it's going. We have this really big ladder that we got from Big Lots or some store went out of business, and we bought it. But our racks are 12 foot high, and it's got to be 15. It's getting to a point where you stand on this ladder and you try to put it on top and you can't.
So these are your personal shoes. These are all in your size?
No, these are
Or this
all
is your
for
inventory?
business. Yeah, this
Okay.
is my business. In my personal inventory, maybe like 50. I used to have like
But still
80,
50.
but
Okay.
my wife was like, you need to get rid of some of these.
Thin the herd.
And yeah, so So we had to make some cuts.
Make some cuts. Well, I'm sure she was doing it for the good of the order.
She is, but now she's got more shoes than me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to make some cuts on your man. That's what I told her.
Good luck.
So, oh man. So
Good
we're
luck on that
sneakerheads.
Newlywed.
Yeah.
So, Matt, how can we support you? We would like to make a donation to your organization today, too.
Well, thank you so much.
As because we love what you're doing, and
Thank you.
Consider it done.
yeah, absolutely.
Do
We'd
you
like
guys
to
have
donate.
corporate sponsorship available?
We do.
Is that on the website as well?
We don't have it on the website, but like Reynolds and Reynolds is like our largest donor, and we have a lot of business sponsors for our 5K and stuff like that. We do offer like a business. Here's the thing: what I liked about Just a Pair of Shoes that's different than a lot of nonprofits is my biggest thing was when you donate money. I like to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's it going? And, and I think cancer research is really important and stuff, but there's a lot of people. We had a supporter say, I donate to the hospital every year, but unfortunately, like I don't get to see where it goes and I don't hear back on anything.
Yeah.
She goes, I want to sponsor a school.
Okay.
And she goes, I'd like to attend and help.
Yeah.
And it was cool because it's like, you get to donate or you can just volunteer, but you can do all of them if you want. And you get to see where your money goes and you get to experience the joy from the kids. So, but yeah, we offer, you can cover a school or you can sponsor a 5K or you can just make a general donation and anything you want to do, you can get involved and we support everything. So we really appreciate it. That's very kind.
We're in.
We are in.
Well, thank you guys.
Anything else that you'd like to add? Did we cover just about everything?
Yeah. I do have one more thing.
Yes, go.
Do we have time?
Yeah, we have. We have all the time that you.
So we launched a pilot program that is still, so we wanted to give back to the teachers. Teachers are really important to me and to a lot of people, right? And I don't think they get enough thanks. And kids graduate and they go on their journey. They don't ever get to come back and say thanks. So we're always thinking like, man, what can we do for the teachers? And so with Just a Pair of Shoes, we decided to, we did PD day. So we get to teach a class at the high school.
Okay.
So again, full circle. Now I'm a teacher and they're in the seats, but we selected 7 teachers and we let the teacher get a brand new pair of shoes and they get to select a kid.
Oh my goodness.
Because we have a problem with teachers because they want to volunteer, but we operate in school season.
Yeah.
So in the summer, we'll go to homeless shelters and stuff and it's just not the same.
Right.
So now we give the shoe to the teacher and we let them experience it. So that's been kind of cool. And then we have businesses local here that will sponsor a box. So when the teacher opens the box, they'll have this shoe was donated by, and then like, here's a little message or some words of encouragement. So yeah, we're hoping, we're hoping that kind of takes off and that's really rewarding.
Okay. And you're considering it a pilot program at this point?
Yeah, a pilot program. I think, every teacher in America would want to be in it. But we're testing it out to see how it goes. And it lets the teacher make an impact on a student. And it also helps them get closer to a student that maybe one teacher described it like, the kid I selected really just needs a win right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity. And the teacher gets to now understand, if they don't already, what those shoes mean.
The joy
and we're going to give them a nice pair of shoes and we're going to see how the kids react and how that makes them feel. So just kind of a cool thing, but it's a pilot program. Yeah. Thank you.
So you've just done that. You're just doing this in Fairborn right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And then might expand later, but it's just getting started, getting rolling.
And it gives an opportunity for a business to get involved and they can pick a school and ultimately like maybe pick a teacher, but it's hard because you want to do it for all the teachers. But we just randomly selected 7 that were in our little class. So we're trying to get involved and find out other ways that we can branch out and help everybody. So
what a great
awesome.
story.
yeah, well, thank you. Well, thank you for having me. This is
gonna be
great.
fun.
Thank you, Matt.
It's been
great.
And we'll get your contact information, so there'll be links and bio stuff and photographs. Greg will get back in touch.
Yeah, we got to see a picture of all those shoes in that house.
Oh, I will send you a picture.
And hi to Jody. Hi, Jody.
Mama Jode. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What should they do if they like what they're doing and want to share it with other people?
Well,
what should they do?
subscribe, and follow Living Well Together, Big Life in a Small Town, but definitely follow Just a Pair of Shoes with Matt Cline.
Thank you.
This is a phenomenal interview, and we appreciate your time very much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. And I love what you guys are doing. And you've interviewed a lot of people. Wait, what episode are we? Like, we're
This
we're
is
getting up there.
69.
69. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. We've stayed nice and current.
Well, and consistent
And
too.
consistent,
So
But
yeah.
you're really helping us. Part of our mission is to connect as many people as we can in small town USA doing
Yeah.
big things.
yeah, Fairborn, man.
I'm telling you, it's
Fairborn is
Awesome.
on the map.
It really is.
Yeah.
no doubt.
It
Definitely.
really is. And, it's with the new schools and everything, we stack up with other people and
For sure.
the kids are believing it and they're really buying in and the culture is really changing over there. So
Just proud.
we're all excited.
Yeah, they're flexing their
Oh,
muscles.
you guys are right down the road.
I know. Like,
wow.
it's this right over there.
That's cool. That's really
Okay, personal question.
Go ahead.
And if we need to cut this, we can. Do you or do you not own a pair of Hey Dudes?
Well, me personally, I don't, but we do have like 10 of them in our inventory. So I wanna experience them. So I'm open to it.
But
I
he's
just
moving
need to-
away from them, Matt.
No, it's
Don't worry
basically
about
a
it.
license to wear slippers outside the house.
True.
But I think like the Hey Dude guy and the Croc guy, they're like laying on a beach somewhere. They're never working again a
gosh.
day in their life, and they're just
Crazy.
laughing
They're just laughing
all the
it
way
up.
to the bank.
Yeah, everybody wants to make a shoe, but why not just make a slipper or something comfortable and make it cheaper? So
Right.
it's more affordable. But we'll,
All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. See,
you
you.
next
Bye-bye.
time.
We had the superintendent on.
Yeah.
oh, Amy Gayhart,
Amy
man.
Gayhart.
I forgot to name drop her, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see her journey as teacher, principal,
Right.
and then super.
Yeah,
Right.
And
exactly.
oh man, I should have said this.
Yeah. Well, you can say it now. Go ahead.
One
We
thing
can-
about Amy is I've worked with a lot of schools, a lot of superintendents. Amy Gayhart is the only superintendent to actually take a pair of shoes, get on the ground with a student, and help them try their shoes on.
Is that right?
Yes. So as far as a servant leader goes,
Right.
Yeah.
we've got the best one.
Oh,
love
yeah.
that.